Okay, I'm just going to get right into it because I have 6 pages. I got 6 pages of findings. Went over your stuff for a few hours. Found a lot. There's definitely a lot to work on. There's definitely a lot to work on. The good news is a lot of your competition isn't really doing much either, so that's good. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. With local SEO, Google My Business, it's local SEO and Google My Business type stuff. It's all about relevance. Like, how relevant are you to the search? Obviously, if somebody searches for pizza San Francisco, you're not going to come up. But yoga or what was the other, corporate yoga classes? What was the other, coaching, right? Fitness, that kind of stuff. It's a good chance you're going to show up for that. Now, proximity is a big thing. So San Francisco is a big city. I don't know what part of San Francisco you're in. I know you're here, so I guess that's the northeast San Francisco. If somebody is searching for you and let's say, I don't know if this is San Francisco down here, it says it's Parkmers. But anyway, let's say this is San Francisco, and let's say there's a yoga class here, here, and here. So here, here, and here. And you're way up here, there's a good chance that no matter how good your ranking is, these three are going to show up, right? So proximity is a big factor as well. And the third factor is prominent. So how prominent is your business? There's a thing I like to refer to as a web footprint. How is your business mentioned a lot on other websites? And yours is, right? Like, what are your reviews like in Yelp? What are your reviews like on Facebook, right? You have a pretty good presence there, and we'll get into all that, but that's what I mean by prominence. So 50% of Google My Business pages earn at least 1,000 views per month. The only reason I'm putting this here is so you get a good understanding how important Google My Business is, right? And 84% of businesses are found with discovery search results. So most people are not going to find you by typing in tribe yoga. Most people are going to find you by doing yoga studio near me, assuming they're in San Francisco. Like for me, this would show up results in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. Well, actually, I have my location set, so and I'll get into how you set your location. So it is showing San Francisco results. And then website clicks are up about 30% just from GMB clicks. So anytime you see GMB, that's Google My Business, are up for about 30% just from 2018. And that's a study from last year. We don't even have the studies from 2021 yet. My guess it would probably be up 50 to 60%. So anytime in SEO, whether it's local business SEO, whether it's e-commerce SEO, whatever, you want to look at your competition, right? You want to look at the top ranking results locally, and then for like plumbers, banks, yoga studios, stuff like that, I like to also look at the results in major markets. Like San Francisco is a huge market, right? So what I like to do, though, I mean, you could spend as much time with this as you wanted to and look at results for 30 different cities, but I usually focus on LA, New York, and if then I want to, I might do Chicago to kind of get a Midwest vibe for it. So what I mean by this is you want to see what are the top ranking results for a big market, because you generally in these big market cities, it's fairly common for these people to have SEO people, like full-time SEO people, because it's very competitive. So I like to go look at their Google My Business profile. And these buttons come from GMB Crush, and we'll get into all this stuff. And then, so as I see this here, I would see best studios in Los Angeles. I would look at this URL and see, can I get, is my business listed in this ClassPass directory? ClassPass directory, is it even relevant? Are you in expertise.com, right? But what I like to do is go look at the top ranking. Okay, so this is the top one that's not a directory. I want to go look at their website and see what they're doing. What are they doing that you aren't doing? Is there any keywords? Okay, this is pretty interesting. So they have an online class schedule. So that looks pretty good. So that's that. I also like, and we'll get into all this stuff in more detail. I'm kind of just laying a foundation here. So Google Maps. So when you go to Google Maps, you want to look at how they handle reviews. What are the reviews like? How many Google posts are they doing? What are their photos like? What are they doing on social media? What are their blog posts like? Because that's all the stuff you want to look at. Because that's what, if it ranks high, that's what Google likes. I mean, obviously Google thinks they're doing a good job because they're ranking them high, right? So that's something you'd want to emulate those and put your own little twist on it. So first thing I came across is your performance is not good. So performance, Google just rolled out something in the last couple months called Core Web Vitals. You can see it here, Web Vitals, and I click on here, you can read about it, or actually this just goes to the actual rankings, I believe. Yeah. So this is just a way for Google to measure how your website is performing. This is gonna cause you a problem because your website, it says it takes 16 seconds to load. Now this is a synthetic test. Obviously your website doesn't take 16 seconds to load. However, if I copy it and I go to incognito window, I load it. So let's click on this. Let's go ahead and go to it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Missis. Okay, so the first thing that sticks out took about 5 seconds, which isn't bad, but you'd like to get it to around 3 seconds or under. Secondly, I would not pop that. Google, this is called an interstitial. I think that's the word they use. An interstitial. You do not want these things to pop up because Google's going to penalize you. You don't want things to pop up that cover the entire screen, right? This is something I definitely would not pop up. Well, I should say at the beginning. What I would do is you can set like I'm sure you're using a plugin for that. You can have it pop up as it detects the people are going to exit your page, or you can delay it like 30 seconds, right? So that's what I would do. So that's probably hurting you a little bit. And then it took about 5 seconds to load, which is going to be a problem. So if I go to web page test, and I do performance stuff too. So if you need help with this, let me know. I can do it for you. We can do a gig for that if you want me to like help you get through it, which I'm going to show you kind of here right now what you kind of need to do, but can get a little tricky. So largest contentful paint is how long it takes for the largest thing on your website to load. So it's 7 seconds. Now this is just a synthetic test, like I said. It's coming from Salt Lake. Everyone's a little different. But this is going to give you a good understanding. Cumulative layout shift is things that are shifting around as the page loads, and then blocky time. So scripts that are blocking other scripts. So you can see all these that have X's in them are blocking things from loading. Now, scripts are going to block other scripts, but generally you don't have this many, right? So you can see this. So this is CSS. So there's some CSS code, CSS code, CSS code. This is taking under 0.2 seconds to load. So all these short little loading times are really good. Short, 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 good, good, good. Now you get to a problem here. So you need to dig into this JavaScript. It's pretty small. It's only 18K. So let me zoom back out. So you want to find out, we probably could do something with the plugin. We could like defer it because I don't think, let me scroll to the bottom. If you have a caching plugin, it normally puts a comment down here. If you don't have any caching set up, I don't think so. That's something probably take care of that. We can defer it, meaning you don't load JavaScript. It loads last, right? So that's not going to slow the page from loading down. There's all kinds of stuff. That's it. Now, the other thing I notice is these images are taking a long time to load. Now, this is 100K, so it's not bad. It's kind of bugging out right now. Sometimes it does this. Let me click on Object. So this image probably can be optimized. Now, if you scroll down, you have the average website on the web a optimized website should be under 3 meg. Your website is 7.5 meg. Requests, you have 100 requests. So this will be about 150 requests. Sometimes it's not totally the same. Like all these things that are happening are requests. You want to generally have that, as little as possible, right? But I like to see it under 100. So what's taking up a lot of space is you are using Cloudflare. I never noticed that before. Interesting. And now Cloudflare is one of those things. Sometimes it can help and sometimes it can slow things down. Just depends. Something you got to test. So what's causing a problem is this JPG is 2 megs, right? So it's a huge image. So what you want to do, I'll show you how to do this really quickly if you want to do it on your own. Save it. And all your images need to have SEO image friendly names, like tribe, yoga, nutrition, studio, whatever it is, right? So the problem is that image is really big. So it's 2,000 by 1,300. So this could probably be smaller, 1,500 by 1,000. Let me show you something real quick. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Can't do it right there because it's... Anyway, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. So if it can be displayed smaller, that's good. But for this instance, let's say we can't shrink it. We can't decrease the size of it. So then what you do is go to File, Save As. This is a program called Paint.net. Not Paint, but Paint.net. So you name it, see, like Tribe. What does that mean? Tribe is, what does that mean to Google, right? So I would do something like Tribe Yoga Studio Classes or whatever, something that means something. It helps Google get a context and understand what these images are. And also when Google is looking at images, it doesn't just use the image name, it also uses the alt text. It also uses a lot of the text on the page to determine what the image is. And it also, to determine what the page is, it uses image file name. So all this kind of plays together. So you're going to save it. And then here you have a quality slider. So let's do this. I'm assuming you're one of these guys. I think you are. So let's just look at his head. You can see at 100% quality, this is how clear the picture is. You go down to 0%, so you can see it's really bad. But now I can get most things to 30%. So this is 30% quality. So I'm going to change this slider from 30 to 100 and just look at the quality of the detail of his face and see if you can see a difference. So this is 30. We're going to go to 100. Looks the exact same. So from going to 100 down to 30, that goes from 33, that goes from 2 meg down to 200K. So you've decreased it by a factor of 10, right? And so then you upload that, and that's going to decrease the size of your website by about, what does that come to, 30%? So that's going to help with your load time. So anyway, load time is a problem. That's going to affect your search rankings, and I'm sure that is affecting your search rankings. The bad news is when you update anything that you change for SEO purposes, it's going to take a few months. Well, it could take a couple weeks. Generally, you got to wait a few weeks to a few months for Google to pick it up and see if what you change is actually doing anything. Now, what I would do, Bright Local has a really cool tool. So just go to YouTube and watch a Bright Local tutorial video. Let me just show you. It's a tool that's expensive. Everything I do, well, most things I do are free or very cheap because all these tools could add up to costing a lot of money. But they have a free trial that you can use. And it's really cool. The main thing I would use it for to start off with is an audit and find out its recommendations for you, right? Citation stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's something I would at least do for free up front and see what kind of recommendations and suggestions it gives you. So moving along, that's just a little side note. So things I noticed that can confuse Google: duplicate addresses. So if I search for your address, San Francisco, and I scroll down, you can see Neil Palladino, and I believe that's the name of one of you guys. That may be you. I'm not sure because I looked through your website, and I know it was founded by, I think, 2 brothers. So I'm assuming that's you guys. Anywhere this address is listed, it needs to say Tribe Fitness, Yoga, and Coaching, not Tribe Yoga. So not just Tribe Fitness. It needs to say this exact, whatever it's going to be. So not Tribe Dash Fitness, Yoga, and Coaching, and then Tribe here with no dash, and then Tribe Fitness here, and then Open Tribe Fitness, whatever. I mean, that might be something they put on here. I don't know what that is. So basically the point here is you don't want to confuse Google. And so here's a totally different one. This is Innovative Touch Massage, which looks like it's in the same suite number. So this, you need to go to all of these citation sources, like directories, whatever these things are, and try to get it so your name is consistent across all these places. It's not always possible. Sometimes it's out of your control, but you need to do it as much as possible. This just helps Google know that, okay, I have a high certainty that their business name actually is this business name, and then you're going to rank a little higher, right? So all this adds up. So another thing that was a problem is duplicate phone numbers. This is the same type of thing. So if I search for your phone number up here, you can see Tribe SF, Fitness and Yoga, Tribe SF. So these are kind of the same, but they need to be exactly the same. I did find one that, where was it? Now I can't find it. There was another one I thought, Group Fitness. Okay. I think when I read Group Fitness, I thought that was the name of the company group fitness, but I think that's just saying this is for group fitness, right? Okay, right. So that's that. That's that. Let me go back here. And before I forget, there's not an easy way to contact you guys. It looks like you have 2 versions of the website up right now. See, we're going to get into this. This contact should always be up here at the top right, and then also down here in the footer. Okay, moving along. So hopefully that all makes sense. So NAP stands for names. What is it? My mind just went blank. Names, address, places. So this is a free tool from Moz, which is a cool company. So Bright Local would do this for you and in a lot more detail. But let me show you what Moz came up with, and it's going to take a few moments. So let me pause it while it's happening, and we will be right back. Well, I think it's going to finish. Okay, so these are all the directories it detected you are and are not listed in, based on what its algorithm and the directories it looks in. Now, do you want to be in N49, all these obscure directories? Maybe not, right? But the point is, if you are in a directory, you want to make sure everything's consistent. So your email address in US info, it looks jumbled up, unless that's like something on their page that's messed up. So that's something you'd want to go look at. Your US info, it doesn't have suite 220, I think. What is well, now I don't see the suite in any of them. But this is a big problem because your website says, 220. Your website says there's a suite number. So this all needs to be consistent. Also, you have different phone numbers. So on Where2 has 7273. This is 1319, 1319, 7273. So Google Maps, wait, is that right? Let me see. I didn't notice that when I was looking. Right, okay, so that's a problem because on your website, unless that's like a Google forwarding number or something, it has 1319. So this is a big problem. So all this needs to be worked out as much as possible. And this is a lot what I'm going through, and it might seem overwhelming, and it is overwhelming. But all this stuff to fix generally takes probably about 6 months. I have a plan I'm going to show you at the end. That kind of, if you want to do it on your own, it gives you step by step. Now, like a lot of these things are, you'd have to go. These are one-off things, but I have a general plan that's gonna work for about 90% of what you're doing. So the bottom line is, don't get frustrated. Understand this is going to take a long time, right? It's like anything you're serious about, and obviously you're serious about your business. You're just gonna have to take time, and it's a continual thing you got to keep massaging and doing. So these are the big directories, right? Apple Maps, Bing. So what you might think. So Bing is a Microsoft search engine. You might think, well, nobody really uses Bing, and that's kind of true. I think about 10% of the search traffic on the internet is Bing. It might be 5, I don't know. But Amazon Alexa defaults to Bing. I don't even know if Google's even allowed on Amazon Alexa. Amazon and Google kind of have a weird relationship. I think up to this day, you can't buy a Google Chromecast on Amazon. Maybe you can now, but I know for a long time you couldn't. And then you could, and then you couldn't, and then you could. So it's kind of a thing. So places, Yahoo, local, Facebook, Google, Yelp. So these are all the directories you want to be in. Also, if you search for yoga class in San Fran, in your case, you would do near me, not San Francisco. Where are there lists? Let's say like best classes, etc. So Yelp. So you're in Yelp. ClassPass, okay, that one came up again. Outdoor Yoga SF, I think that's a company. It is a company. Mindbody Online. So see how it says 10 top classes, best classes in yoga? So if you could reach out to these people, if it's possible, and ask how, at least find out how they do the ranking. Now, it might be a proprietary algorithm, but just say, hey, we have a yoga studio. We'd love to get, a little exposure. Can you let us know a little bit more so we can, do our best to get into your top 10 list? Sometimes people will say, okay, we'll put you in the top 10 list. Other times it's going to, require a lot of work. And sometimes you can't do it. The culture trip, right? So this is the culture trip. So let's go here. Same kind of thing. I would reach out to this Jackie Pizel. And if there's no contact information, then you just copy, obviously, boom. And normally people have Twitter, Instagram, and she does not. but and she might be it. So you'll be able to find her, right? It's not that hard. There's tools you can use. Email Hunter, I think it's called Email Hunter and stuff. You can use to dig up people's email address or contact information. So if you need that, let me know and I can help you with that. So hopefully that makes sense. Keep your socials up to date. So your socials, so our socials meaning social media. At a minimum, it's a signal to Google that you are up to date, you're keeping up to date, and you're an active company. And when you're updating your social media, you don't want to do all promotions, and you're not doing all promotions. Like your Facebook page was pretty good, your Yelp page was good. What's the audio service? Medium, we're going to get into that. Instagram, you haven't updated in a while. So if you're going to have a link to Instagram in any of these, make sure you're keeping this stuff up to date. If you're not going to keep it up to date, then don't list it. So your Facebook was good. Make sure you're using not stock imagery, and I don't think this is stock imagery because I noticed the bricks, I think, in the background. I think I noticed this guy, and I recognize this lady from the website too, so that's really good. And this was from September 16th, so this is good, right? Now, something I would do also, if you also want to put your content here, this is a good video. This video you want to also add to Google, in your GMB photos. So here, add video. So why do you want to do that? Because when somebody sees your business in the knowledge over here, these videos and photos are going to show up over here. And you want to tape, it's basically like a free advertisement. You want it to take up as much screen real estate as possible, but also it's a signal to Google My Business. You're using their product. You're really, on top of your business, right? Because people that don't care about the business aren't going to do any of this stuff. So it makes sense you would rank higher by doing that. Can I prove that? I can point to a lot of data, but I can't 100% prove it. I like that you have the appointment availability stuff. I would add this to the website as well. Why only do it on Facebook? And there's WordPress plugins that can do this stuff for you. If you want help with that, let me know. So this is good. I just noticed you weren't doing on all of them. So that's that. So stay on top of it. So Screaming Frog. So I'm going to send you, I'm exporting this. I've exported this to a spreadsheet. I wish I could make the font bigger. But I can't. So you don't got to see all that. You don't have to write all this stuff down. So basically this is just, it spiders your website and figures out what's what. So so you have these pages, right? Corporate wellness assessment. So this looks good. Doesn't look like you have anything. You don't have any pages that you don't know about. So if you ever want to see what Google has indexed for your page, just put site : in front of your website, in front of your domain, and you can see what Google has indexed for your page and what the meta descriptions are and what the page titles are. Sometimes Google annoyingly overrides titles and meta descriptions, but you at least want to see how it's being presented to people. Like hour is capitalized, blog. This kind of looks kind of weird to me. I wouldn't capitalize it. Now your blog's a whole other issue that we'll get into. So going back to Screaming Frog. So these are URLs. Security is good. So response code. So the main thing that stuck out here is you have a broken link. You have a really small website, so you don't have a lot of broken links. So you want to go here and fix this broken link. Page titles. Now your page titles are a problem because there's a saying that says use what Google gives you. If Google gives you 60 characters for something, and I think it's 60, I always forget, 60 characters, you can put up to 60 characters in your page title. Google's going to use your page title to understand what your page is. So what does coaching page mean? This should say something more like yoga student coaching page San Francisco, then the name of the company. But you'd have to think it out, do keyword research and all that stuff. Like what does this yoga mean? Is this like can you buy yoga products on this page? What is it? So these page titles need to be totally redone, and you need to make sure you're including as close to 60 characters as possible. Same thing with meta descriptions, right? So you only have meta description for your homepage. Why don't you have meta descriptions for all of your other pages? So that's something you want to do. The other thing, so going back to large images, so that web page test performance scan that I did for you is only your homepage. So where else on your website do you have large images? This one is 1.5 meg. So let's see what this is. So this is a large image. So I'm just going to do it real quick. You saw how I did this, but I'm just going to do it real quick to see how small we can get it. So this is out without resizing. So first, okay, so this is a PNG. You don't want any images to be PNGs unless they're transparent PNGs because they're huge. So you want to set it to JPEG. Or what I'm doing more and more these days is WebP. WebP is even more optimized. And WordPress natively supports it now, right? So save it to JPEG. And you can see just going from PNG to JPEG, it cut it in half. But if you go down to 30%, it's down to 56K. So 1.5 meg down to 50K. What is that? That's like 30-fold difference. So that's that. So that's the basics of Screaming Frog. You don't have a lot of pages, so there's not a lot to get into, but that's what that is. Those are the recommendations I would have. Okay, so your business description in GMB, you have a pretty good description. Most people don't spend a lot of time on this, and it looks like you're using pretty good word count. Whoops. So again, use what Google gives you. It's giving you 750 characters, using 600 and I can't see that, 650, I believe it is, 651. And that's pretty good, right? You don't have to use exactly 750. But I would use your keywords more. One that really stuck out was tribe, yoga, fitness, right? That'd be a good opportunity to use the word yoga. Was founded in 1970. Yeah, this is where I read that it was the brothers. And then I also see if you can get San Francisco mentioned. Okay, you got it 2 times, maybe one more time. But then, so this is good. Now, the keywords you want to include, if you go down to your services, virtual classes, and this is a big problem too that we'll get into. Do you have group fitness in there? HIT? I don't think you have HIT in there. Small group training. Also your products, right? You want to make sure you include all these products. Yoga class, group, I think you have most of those. Let's go back and look. So you definitely don't have HIT. But down here towards the bottom, you mentioned the services. Yeah, curated fitness, personal training, yoga, meditation programs. Okay, so you mentioned yoga here, or I'm sorry, meditation, but you don't mention meditation up here anywhere. So these all tie together. So and we'll get into this as we go along further, any product you mention here needs to be listed on your page, right? And you have like a product section or something. Well, actually, you don't have you're not selling like headphones, so I get that. So products, group fitness, personal training, those and services, each one of these needs to have a dedicated landing page. So like for HIIT and group fitness, so if you go back to here, up here, I would have HAIT, group fitness. I would have all of those listed as landing pages here because that really builds a good structure and a good taxonomy for Google to understand how all this ties together. Because if you say you do HIIT, that's like high intensity training, I think, and yoga, but it's not mentioned anywhere, like predominantly, maybe in a blog post or something. Does Google know? How does Google know that you really do offer that? You don't mention it anywhere, so maybe you don't. So you're going to move lower down in the rankings because Google doesn't have a high trust factor that what you list is actually what you do, right? So that's that. Okay, so this is exactly what I just said. Sorry, I write so much stuff down I forget what I'm talking about. I have to go back to my list and see what I wrote. So this is a problem here. Your services, it looks like either Google determined you don't do virtual classes or somebody reported that you don't do virtual classes. So this is something you want to definitely find out what's going on here. You can accept the changes, and I don't even know how this got scratched out, but I would go look into here and add whatever you do. And if you add these, make it note that you need to include that on your website somewhere. So that's a problem right there. Now, keep in mind when you're adding these pages, so when you're doing HIT, HIIT, you need definitely put your, because there's something called topical authority and geographical authority. Topical authority is you are an authority on topic. So it would be fitness, nutrition, yoga, exercise coaching, whatever the proper term is, right? So the more you build your website around that, you're going to build that trust on that topical authority. And that's done with blog posts, which you have an issue there, which we'll get into. And that's why blogs are so important. Well, blogs are really important because that's how people are going to find out about you. Nobody wants to write blog posts, but if somebody searches for, what are the 10 most effective blog yoga poses or whatever, and they do it from San Francisco, you're more likely to show up because you're geographically closer to that person than somebody that wrote it in New York or something like that. And then in the post, you make sure you promote your business, because they'll read it, then they'll go, oh, okay, this person, this is actually a yoga studio in San Francisco. Maybe I'm going to reach out to them. And then geographical authority. So where was I going? Let me go back and see what I was talking about. Oh, so the landing pages. You need, in all your landing pages, you need to make sure that you're mentioning the geographical information in here. I don't think okay, you do mention HIT right here, but it should be its own dedicated page. And you don't, I would definitely put your map and your address information in the footer on every page. And see how this just says fitness what? And you're not using any, well, I guess we'll get into this more. This is, you're not, anytime you create any page, whether it's a landing page or blog post, you need to keep in mind what keywords do you think people are searching for to get to this. So for fitness, this would be fitness studio in San Francisco, something like that. And you do keyword research to figure this stuff out. And I'll show you how to do that too. Fitness, and you need to make sure you use those keywords on your pages, right? So I would have a landing page for this. Well, semi-private training anywhere. So I would have it up here. So I would have like services and then a drop down, personal training, semi-private training. And then if you, whatever this is, semi-private training, use the proper verbiage up here. I should not the proper, make sure the verbiage is exactly similar. So Google knows, because you might say private training on one, and another one you might say partial, this, you're not doing this exact word. They might say partial private training and then semi-private. How does Google know what's what? So all those need to be mapped to be the exact same things. Then page titles as well. So yeah, so use keywords people are searching for. I think let me make sure. Okay, I got it down here, so I'm not going to get into that. But you want to, like I said, keep in mind what people are searching for. Okay, so your blog, which you don't link to anywhere, which is a problem, and we'll definitely get into that. Anytime Google likes site structure. A proper site structure helps Google determine what are the important pages on this website. How are these pages related to each other? So once your blog is active or linked properly, whatever is going on here, blog. So can you combine yoga and meditation together? And I have a whole process for determining, and I can share it with you. I can go over it with you if you want. You want to make sure you're writing content that people are actually searching on and you have a decent chance of ranking for. So I can step through how to find those content ideas and how to determine if you're going to have a statistical higher chance of ranking for it than not, right? So can you combine yoga, meditation? I would make your font bigger, first of all, so I can barely read it. So healthy lifestyle. If you had a blog post on healthy lifestyle, you'd want to link to it right here. If you had a blog post on fitness regimen, put that here. But you had one. Let me go back. Where did it go? Reasons to hire. Okay, this is it right here. Reasons to hire a professional trainer. And people love lists. I would do something like, what are the top 10 reasons to hire a personal trainer? Because this is very thin content. Google likes content that is longer, right? Now, if it's appropriate. So I definitely, if you did 10 points, that would be a lot better. So let's see. Enough to know the. Okay, so this is so it's good to link between your blog pages and all, but what's more important is hiring a fitness trainer. This should link to your hire a fitness trainer page, right? Because that's going to tell Google this is the anytime you mention hiring a fitness trainer on any of your blog posts, and they all link to this one page, that's a signal to Google. If somebody searches for hire a fitness trainer, that tells Google, okay, this is probably where I should send them on the website, because all of these pages that say hire a fitness trainer are linking to this one page. So that's what that means. So I'm just going to show you an idea. So for to get content ideas, I mean, you can use Quora. Those are things people are actually searching. Those are questions people actually have. Just type in yoga into Quora, right? And it's a question and answer website. So yoga. So let's look at these people also ask, what are the benefits of yoga? Where'd it go? These are all good questions. So let me see. People also ask scanner. What is that? Make. So let's just use yoga. And so you could use any topic. You could do, exercise. You could do nutrition. So it's going to do that. Oh, you got to create a free. This is something new. So basically, this is just going to scrape. I believe it scrapes. People also ask, and it's going to give you like dozens of questions that people also ask related to yoga. These are good content ideas. You can install these extensions. Like I have keywords everywhere. Here, yoga for beginners, yoga benefits. So these are good ideas, right? The yoga for beginners blog post, yoga benefits. This is the kind of stuff that you put on YouTube. Well, that works really well. Yoga poses. Yoga for kids. These. Okay, we'll get into that as we go along. So, and these are booty yoga. So these are good keyword opportunities, right? I have no idea what this is. You probably do. And if you don't, and you do something like this is something you'd either create a service page for, or at least mention it on your yoga, because this is somebody searching for. So somebody could search for booty yoga near me, assuming it is not like a brand or something. I have no idea. So in your yoga services page, you would want to mention at least, you probably don't want to have a dedicated page to just this thing, but you want to have like a bullet list. Types of yoga we do: Buddha yoga, Indian yoga, whatever, right? Because keep in mind, these are things people are searching on. So that is that. So as you can see, it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And these are the things you want to put. Oh, let me go back to the SERP. So anytime you see SERP, S-E-R-P, it's search engine results page. You'll see a lot of that in SEO. Here, right? Booty yoga controversy 2020. It'd be an interesting blog post. I mean, people are searching on it. Yoga exercises. So another thing you could do, yoga exercises is good, but that's pretty generic. So just go here, type its exercises space, and look at what's auto-completing. These are things people are talking about, are searching on. A really good website is Answer the Public. You get 2 free searches per day. And if you need more, you can just use like Tor, or a VPN or something, or just the moral thing to do would be to pay. But so you can zoom in. These are all good questions. How does yoga help? How does yoga physiologically change your body or something like that? How does yoga work? Are yoga and Pilates the same? That's really interesting. So you can see there's all kinds of questions here. And then you can do yoga with Adrian for beginners, Adrian calendar. I don't know if that's a person or what. I guess it's like a course. Yoga is as yoga does. Let's go back up here. Let's find one that's more coherent. What yoga poses relieve gas? That's totally interesting. And you can kind of see, if you don't know this, all you do is go find the answer, and then what I do is I look at the top results, the top 5 results or so, because those are the ones Google thinks are providing a good answer. So I would go here, Basically, you just want to combine the answers from the top 5 results and make a really good informative blog post, making sure you're keeping an eye on the keywords. You can use an extension like SEO Quake up here. Click on it, and then go to page info. That's kind of weird. I don't know why they put that there. Want to look at the keywords that are here in this post, food and drinks. Well, these aren't really that good. Your knees. So you don't want to mention knees. You don't want to mention hands, legs, obviously, feet. So those are the keywords you want to focus on, right? Now there's another cool tool called Text Optimizer. So this uses artificial intelligence, and I can get into this. This is just ridiculous. Oh, whoops. Okay, so based on all these keywords on this page, these are keywords that Google thinks would also fit appropriately, that using AI, because in Google it's not just about keywords anymore, it's about relationships between words. So I would take a pen. Now you could go, there's like tons of these, and I don't think they're in order by relevance, but what I do, I just kind of take the first page, posture, pelvis, thigh, ankle, blah blah blah, the top 5 results I do this for, and see which ones come up over and over again. Now these are ones that aren't used, right? So by doing keywords everywhere, you can find the ones that are used. Here, these are ones that aren't used. Like if you see downward appearing in this list over and over again, and then maybe it's mentioned on other pages where it's actually mentioned, and it's mentioned a lot, that's a keyword you want to focus on for your content. This is kind of freaking out here, isn't it? Let's do this. Okay. It's not good. So that's that. So that's called Text Optimizer. Now there's paid versions for all these tools, but and you could spend thousands of dollars a month and maybe do 20% better, but most things you can do with free tools. So H1's H2, so those are like the headers. So like if you go to, let me see, let me go here. One Yoga Alliance. Go to hopefully this is a blog post. Let me view the updates. So see this, what comes next. So these headers, and I'd have to look and see if these are actually H1s. You want to put your important keywords in your H1s and in these headers, because Google's going to say, okay, this keyword is in this header, this section. If they're mentioning it in the header, it's probably really important to this page and context. So that's that. Through is another good tool. You can go look through it if you want. I don't want to waste too much of your time. If you want me to get into this in a lot more detail, I can. Just let me know. You do have a Medium blog. Now, why you don't want to blog on Medium is because you're not building that topical authority. You're giving Medium topical authority for your good content, even though you haven't done it in a long time. So I would just disassociate from. I would remove this link. For backlinking purposes, it might be okay. What I would do is I would take this content and move it over to my domain, because your domain, your website should get credit for all of this really good content. And this is all long, really good content. Compare this to the content you have on your website now, right? You put a lot of time into this, and this is stuff that's Google's going to show Google you know what you're doing. Because when I work with clients, a lot of times they'll have a lot of really thin content, kind of like you have thin content. If you have content that nobody's going to, you want to prune that content. You want to remove it or combine it with other content to make a longer page. And once you do that, you'll start to see that Google will start to rank you higher, because it takes the whole site into account when it's determining what to rank higher. You don't want to have a lot of content people aren't going to. It's not serving a purpose. So you'd want to remove that. So this is all good. I would move this over to your website for sure. Went over this, put your address in the footer of all your pages. Let's see where we're at. We got 8 pages. Okay, it gets quicker as we go along. This is the more detailed stuff up here. Went over the descriptive page titles. Okay, so when I said keep in mind what people are searching for, so you can go look in your Google Search Console. If you're not using Google Search Console, you need to be using Google Search Console to find out the keywords people are using to get to your website. What I would do also is Ahrefs. It's like $80 a month, but go get the free version. I use a group buy, so I get it for like $15 a month. Sometimes the language will change to Vietnamese or something, but it's fine. It's a lot cheaper. This is the one tool I do use. You can go to keywords and see what keywords people are using to get to your website. See that domain searches left? It's 14 because I'm doing a group buy. And why this is powerful, so tribe fitness, inbound tribe coaching. Now why this is powerful, let's do this. Let me show you this. It's really good for competitive intelligence. I never can say that word properly. Let's go here. Glow Yoga and Wellness. I'm trying to get their website. You can use it to see what your competition's doing, and high ranking results in New York, in Los Angeles, Chicago, etc. So let's do this real quick. We're going to go ahead and search. I want to see because if they're ranking high, they're probably using keywords, and if they're using keywords that you're not using, you want to pounce on those keywords. The Glow Spa, Glow San Francisco, Glow blah blah blah, North Beach. Bar, okay, bar. I think that's bar. That sticks out to me. Face gym, whatever that means. Massage, that's something good. Are you doing massages? Maybe you're not doing massages. Are you doing essential cleaning solutions? So hopefully you get the idea. So I would use Ahrefs, and this is a whole topic in itself. You can go see the backlinks. Links are a ranking factor, so backlinks are. So backlinks coming into this website. Where are they getting links from? They're getting from 7-x7.com. You got some coming from there as well. So let's go doyou.com. 14 must visit yoga studies in San Francisco. So this is really good. I would reach out to this person. If you're not in this one, this is a perfect opportunity to contact this person and find out how you can get on this page. You can offer stuff, quote unquote stuff, right? That's totally against Google guidelines, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's that. Reviews. Okay, so yoga 4, right? So this is what I'm going to show you too. So yoga 4, what's populating? Beginners, kids, back pain, weight loss, seniors, right? So these are things you need to have on your website. Let's do kids. So then yoga for kids poses, kid books. You could do book reviews. Then of course create like a Google affiliate link so you get credit when they buy it. Kids benefits, right? So all this for kids, I would create on this yoga for kids. On this kids page, I would create the sections. Is yoga appropriate for children? What age is good for you? What age is good for yoga for kids? Can a 9-year-old do yoga? So I would consider, when it makes sense, adding these sections to your page. I would come over here, keywords everywhere. Morning yoga, these are the kinds of things I would focus on. Then I would come down here and then answer the public like I showed you here. Do yoga for kids and see what comes up. So it's a lot, but hopefully this makes sense. Justification. So now we're going into Google My Business or Google Maps. So when I say Google Maps, let me close all to the right. So yoga near me. And there's a GMB Crush is the name of an extension that I can't, for some reason, you only have a certain amount of free searches per day, and I've already used mine up. I have a video on it. Let me do this real quick. Okay, make sure, let me just, for all the clients I have, none of them. This isn't Bing Places, this isn't Apple Maps, this is strictly Google. Okay, so here's a video you can use that kind of shows you what I can't show you right now because my limit has been met, but I'm going to give you an idea of what it does. So justifications, back to justifications, keep loading that up, is if you go to look at your, so this is for yoga near me, these are the top results that come up. Core Yoga Power. Now this is California because I'm using the location of San Francisco up here. So if we go here and we look at their reviews, look at these words Google thinks is important. Staff. Oops. Now some of them don't make sense, right? Does staff make sense? Do you want to put staff on your web page? Maybe not. instructors, atmosphere. So that would be something I would put on there. Workouts, like bit obviously doesn't make any sense. So you'd want to do those for each of your competitors. Now this is where, now that would be annoying, right? Sitting there and going to 10 to 5, the top 5 competitors and seeing all of their justifications. Like, who wants to sit there and click on all of these? So there's a GMB Crush has this grab top, and it'll go and put all this in a spreadsheet for you. See how it's, look at the bottom right, it says we are crushing, please wait. So it's actually scraping all this information from okay, this is the wrong one. This is the basic information from GMB Crush, the main category, rating, reviews, etc., etc. So we're going to, let me go back here. So you'd have, I'm sorry, you'd have to run, I just started using the tool a week ago because it's new. So you'd go here and look at their posts, their reviews, and basic audit is where you're going to see all this justifications and stuff. Now, what you want to also keep in mind is when you search for yoga near me, look at these categories. Based on this, these are the common Google My Business categories people are using. So if you go to yours, fitness center, yoga studio, personal trainer, that's good. Now I like to have more than 5. So yoga, are you a gym? Are you a training center, physical fitness pro? So you could add a couple more. Massage therapist, I don't know if you do that or not. I didn't see it. So the businesses that show up for yoga near me, these are the categories they're using. Without this is called Plepper. This is the Plepper extension. If you want to use it, you can go down at PLEPER. So you can, these are what all the average of what they're using, but you can also look at them here, the top results. So Glow Yoga is the top one. Yoga studio, facial spa, fitness center, gym, massage therapist, meditation center. You do meditation, so that's something you might want to add. This one has 2, studio, gym, yoga instructors. So the top ranking ones, which ones are they using that you're not using? Training center, that's interesting. Yoga studio, family service center, that's probably not true. Okay, daycare, maybe it is. So just that's how you make sure you're using the correct categories. This is GMB Crush. Oh, I just put that there, didn't I? Check competition, popular pages, and create those. So you want to, this basically means look at their landing pages, right? What landing pages does your, so when I say competition, just assume that I'm saying your competition, the top ranking results, the top ranking locally, the top ranking results in Los Angeles and in New York. What pages, what landing pages do they have that you don't have, right? And another thing you could go to is Ahrefs. Well, I don't have it up anymore, but you can put in one of your competitors and go to top pages. So you can see their pages that are getting the most traffic. It's totally crazy. And that's the kind of stuff you want to emulate because it's working. Okay, we're going to get specifically into GMB a lot here. One thing people overlook, they don't go to this home page. You need to look at this at least once a week. I would set a calendar reminder up because I always forget. It takes you 10 seconds. Stay connected during COVID. So this is something, once this came out like a year ago, and if you didn't know this, you may not go update your availability with this new COVID feature they rolled out. There's another one, connect with real-time video. This is something they put on there a few months back, right? So is this something you want to set up? Might be something you want to look into. But if you don't look here for updates, there may be new features that roll out that you don't know about, right? This is the first time I've seen this. Oh, okay, no, this is just the GMB app, right? And that's something for messaging, that's something you want to have. But basically, that's what that means. Track. So tracking is very important. All you got to do, now there's paid tools that does this, create a spreadsheet once a month, come to Insights and track how many people, direct traffic, are finding you through discovery. So this is your actual business name. This is discovery. So yoga near me, branded. Wait. People find your business searching. Yeah, that's right. Okay, branded related to. So I don't know. I don't track that. Direct discovery. So direct, you're getting 3,900. 13% of your traffic is coming from direct. You'd also want to track how many listings on Google search are you showing up? How many times are you showing up in Google Maps? This is for the last month. Yeah, that's quite a bit. You have quite a bit showing up. That's really good. How many visits to your website? How many have requested directions? How many have called you? How many have messaged you? So month to month, this is what you want to track. And if you're putting in a lot of hard work, these are the zip codes here, which is really, this is actually new too. I've never seen that. So you want to track month to month, visits to your website, requests, etc., etc. If these aren't increasing, then all the work you're putting in is doing nothing. Now, don't worry month to month. It's going to go up and down month to month. Look at it like you track it month to month, but look at it like in 3-month increments, right? Don't panic if something goes down for a month, right? Because that happens. Sites are going to, because Google's always testing things out. It's always tweaking its algorithm. It might put you at the top for one month and another result for the next month, and see which one performs better, right? That's the kind of stuff it does behind the scenes. So that's what that means. Very, very important. Google Posts. So this is GMB Posts. This is a signal to Google that you care, that you're into your business and you want it to succeed, right? Because you're active. The last one you had was August 12th, so that's good. I like to have, they stay for a week. So if you could do one once a week, that would be good. If you can't do it like once every few weeks, that's fine. But at a minimum, just stay active with it. You could link to your landing pages. You could link to your blog content. Your services, you can recycle them. So once a month, link to your meditation page. Once a month, link to your yoga studio page, because this is the stuff that shows up on the right side in that knowledge pane. Offers, all this stuff is really good, right? Events. Okay, I do see that you go out and do private classes or semi-private classes. So are you only doing San Francisco? What about, I think, Bakersfield? That's really, by the way, that's really cool. You're next to the Golden Gate Bridge. I guess I live in Louisiana, or so that's probably not interesting to you. You probably find things, like you would probably find going to the swamp interesting, and I don't find the swamp interesting because I live right next to a swamp. But that would be pretty cool, living to the Golden Gate Bridge. So you'd want to put, I don't have more than 5 of these, but wherever you go, make sure you put these in here, right? And you don't want to put dozens and dozens of these, because Google will see that it's spammy. And you don't want to put, Los Angeles or something if you're not going to Los Angeles. So put 5 or so, right? So that's something you want to update. The products. So you have some products. Let me see, and I think these are good. Yoga class. It's actually a really good price, $25. So the thing here, I don't think you mentioned the location. So obviously, you know the location. Ooh, Yoga Flow. Interesting. I just noticed this. This isn't your business name. So I'm wondering if you used to be Yoga Flow, or maybe you just copy and pasted that from somewhere. So this is confusing Google too. So you want to put tribe there. Let's see, actually, if this works. Okay, so you do have this. Interesting. So this is where, I didn't notice this before. Link to your button. Okay, this is good. I didn't notice this before. I would make sure on your home page, this needs to be on your home page. I like preferably above the fold, meaning above the bottom of the screen, and I'd have the call to action. Like this is a good call to action here. Perhaps have another button like here and here. Maybe center this, and then have this button here and have a button that says like schedule here. I don't think this goes to that. Let me double check. Okay, this goes out to another domain. Wonder if could you embed this and it actually didn't load. That's a big problem. Okay. So this is why you'd want to use something called like Inspectlet. Hold on, before I forget, let me write all this stuff down. Check button on home page, link to the scheduler for now there's let me write this down. I do user bobs once per month. I do 20 sessions once per month. Because this kind of thing right here that you're seeing, we don't visit our own web pages. So how do we know things are broken? You can do 20 videos for $1 each, and you can do more. You can do videos for 5 minutes each for $5. So what this is, you just create a session, and somebody will visit your page for 1 minute and tell you what they think about it. And it's really powerful. So I like to do this every month because I want to. First of all, I'm going to see if things are broken because people are going to be clicking around and see that it's broken, and that's not good. So I like to see that, but I also want to see how people are viewing my page, right? Well, think about this. What if somebody's using, like on your web browser, you have a Apple laptop, let's say you're using Safari version 22, whatever the heck it is nowadays, on a Mac laptop. What about somebody that's using a Windows laptop using Chrome version 52 with all these extensions? Does your web page work? Maybe it doesn't. You want to make sure your web page works from all these different devices, right? And this is what you're going to see these people. So they'll visit your website and you'll hear them talk out loud, right? So that's the power of User Bob. You can see the screen recording of them on your website, but you also hear them talk out loud and give you their impressions. And Specklet, so that's a paid thing. I do those once a month. And Specklet is something I always have installed. It'll give you, I think it's 50 free sessions per day. This basically just allows you to see people on your website with their mouse clicking around and seeing what people are saying. You can't hear them talk out loud because they don't know you're recording them. But it's really powerful because you want to see what people are clicking on. You would have seen, if you were recording them and you would have watched this, you would have seen people clicking on that and the link not working, assuming it's not working for other people. I mean, maybe it's my ad blocker. Let's try this. Yeah, so it's not working. It's totally broken. So that's a big problem. So this is really powerful. Now, you're not going to watch 50 sessions per day, obviously. I like to do once a week. I'll take 10 minutes, and you can adjust the playback speed to like 1.5x or whatever, and I'll watch 20 sessions and just make sure things are working like I think they're working. But I also like to see, so first of all, you see what people are using, so you can see if your website looks like it's actually effective. But the bigger point is I want to make sure things aren't broken. And that is exactly what you would have saw here. So right now, you may not be getting any conversions because that's broken and you didn't know about it. Because we don't go to our own websites, right? So that's what that's all going to be here. That's what these are. Link to your Google My Business profile from your website. So I would just put it down here in the footer. Whoops. What happened to your website? Let's go Tribe. You have these other things. I would just put it down here. And if you can't put it there, put it in the About page somewhere. Not a big deal. It just helps Google further understand what's going on. Okay, so your categories. So we went over this. These categories, you want to have landing pages for your categories as well. So if you have fitness center, yoga studio, personal trainer on your website, you want to make sure you have a page for personal trainer, which you kind of have here, but it's not the same thing, right? So I would make sure, call this personal trainer, not coaching. And then within the content here, you could put coaching. Or if coaching is the more common use, you'd want to put coaching here. But I like to map these properly. So hopefully that makes sense. So you got a lot of work to do. It takes a long time. And there's people, I mean, I have content writers that can do one page for you for like $50, right? It's kind of expensive. Well, I should say it's not that expensive in my opinion. Now you can pay I have people I have that help me out. They're students, so they're looking to make money, right? One guy I have that helps me, he's actually written multiple books, and he's a student, but he's always looking to make a little extra money. You could hire professional writers that have certifications and all this nonsense. Well, not nonsense, all this stuff. And they'd charge you like $300 a page. So the point is, if you don't want to take time to do it, let's say you want that landing page, you could tell the person, okay, use these 5 pages as examples. Like this company has a meditation page, this company has a meditation page. Combine those into one page and create a landing page for meditation. And if that's something you want, I can help you out with that as well. And then mention the keywords, of course, your San Francisco keyword, and then also the keywords are people are using. Meditation for depression, meditation for anxiety, meditation for alcoholism, all that stuff. Because if somebody searches for meditation for alcoholism, and alcoholism isn't mentioned anywhere on your website, then you're going to have a less likelihood of showing up. There's no reason not to have those proper keywords. So how you would check that out is meditation for all these things. You could say, what can meditation help with? And you're going to find all kinds of lists. Self-awareness, focusing on the present, right? And I believe you do meditation. As you can imagine, a lot of this gets lost in my head because can't remember what I talked about. Been talking for like an hour. It gets kind of crazy. Okay, so we're almost done here. Probably 20 more minutes. Maybe not. Is your business spammy? So this is interesting. So if you go to Google My Business, is your business really called Tribe Fitness, Yoga, and Coaching? If not, that's a huge Google violation, and there's a possibility that your business profile will get suspended. You have to use the exact name of your business in your Google business name. Now it sucks because those extra keywords help you out. So the way around that is doing like a doing business as or something like that. Or in your case, I would just on your webpage add tribe and then add up here the extra part of it. So I would remove Tribe Fitness, Yoga, and Coaching, get rid of the dash so it actually looks like the business name, and do that. Or do a doing business as or something like that. And then whatever you change it to, make sure you put the full name here, and then anywhere you have the address, make sure you put that full business name. And that also should be consistent across all those NAPs, NAP. So, Facebook, Yelp, and all those Apple Maps, all that stuff. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Another thing you can do, you can look at your competitors. I don't think any of yours are. If they're spamming to help them with the rankings, which none of them are, I don't think. I think you're 94133. Let's see. Glow Yoga and Wellness. So maybe this is only called Soul Hot. See, I don't know why you're not. Even though you have a lot of problems, which I'm pointing out here, I still think you should be ranking for this zip code in the top 5. That's kind of concerning. So let's say this is just called Saul. You could actually report these people. There's a button you can say like offer a suggestion, and then they'll get a notification and it'll get changed. And if not, you can go to Google and report it. So you see how yours has the keyword, so that's not good. And about a year ago, tons of Google My Business profiles got suspended because of stuff like this. And like also a lot of them that don't have actual business addresses were using business addresses like as PO boxes and stuff. A lot of those got wiped out. So you want to make sure you follow the Google guidelines. Okay, you don't have your special out. Make sure your hours are correct. And again, make sure these hours are the same that are listed on your page. Make sure they're the same that are listed on Yelp and all these other places. And then special hours. Do you have special hours? Christmas, all that stuff. Make sure you add that there. Let me get a sip of water. Okay, when you're uploading your photos, make them SEO friendly. Like I said, descriptive image names. And in the metadata, you want to, this is what I like to do. You don't have to do this. And the author, in the, not the metadata, let me see if I can find one real quick. Where the heck is my downloads? Okay, here. Oh, now I can't find an image. Here. If you right click on the image and you go to properties, all this stuff, I can't think of the name of the details. I like to fill this with geo-relevant information in like my business name and stuff. So you can map these fields to these GPS coordinates, authors, website URL. So again, that just helps Google understand what's going on. This is what I like to use. You can kind of do them however you want, but this works for me. Went over photos and video. Okay, so we didn't go over photos and videos. Photos and videos are really big. You have some good photos, I would do more. And what you don't have videos. Videos are, I don't think these are up. You don't have a lot of them that are up to date. 2020, I think, is the latest. So this is something you just need to stay on top of. As annoying as it is, once, even if you don't have to do them every day, even if you can do one every 2 to 3 weeks, add a calendar reminder, take a few photos as to what's going on in the studio, right? Maybe you have a new weight set, or maybe you have a new, like this right here, anything. Okay, you do have these videos. I thought you only had the one video here. Okay, you have 3, but you can see these are from 2019. This is stuff you want to keep updated. Now, videos you could do once a month. Basically the more the better. Now, just general advice is if you're recording people, just make sure they are fine, are cool with you putting them on the website. Some people don't ask, but I just think it's the right thing to do. So reviews are critical. So you have reviews. However, what's happening here? Okay. You're not responding to your reviews, which is a big problem. Did I cut some stuff off? Okay, we're good. Anytime you get a review, you need to respond to it, and you need the response to be very personable. So if you know this person, let's say you've had a conversation about the San Francisco Giants or something, you would respond to, like, Claire Lee. I'm sure you are very familiar with a lot of these people because they come in over and over again. Maybe you're not, but if you are, you would want to respond. I don't want to even take the chance of doing that. Hey, Claire, thanks for coming. Let's say y'all talked about the Giants. Hope you have fun at that Giants game tomorrow night, because that's going to show people that people look at reviews. People look at reviews. If they're going to see that, and they're going to see you're forming relationships with these people, and that's going to really sway people to you're not just saying thanks for your business, it's greatly appreciated, right? That's very generic and it's kind of annoying, right? So the other thing I like to do, I like to stealth promote in my review responses other things that I do. So if they say one of the best GX classes, okay, well, there's another keyword you need to use. So they're talking about GX classes. So what you would say is, what I just said previously, how you do the review, but also mention one of your other services. If you want to branch out to meditation, just remember we do those too. So that's not necessarily for her. It's for Google getting more keywords in there, and it's for other people that are reading through reviews. Because let's say somebody wants to do GX classes, and let's say also in the back of the mind they're considering doing meditation classes or nutrition counseling, whatever. They're going to see that you do GX classes, and they're also going to see that you do meditation counseling, meditation classes or whatever. So it's going to help from a keyword point of view, and also just from a human looking at your review point of view. So what you want to do, how do you get these reviews? So what you want to do, this URL here, it's a custom URL I got. You want to create an email. Ooh, whoops, it's not right. Of course, wait till they're happy. You don't want to do it. I wouldn't do it the next day. I would wait for them to come a few times, and if they're satisfied, don't send it to anybody, obviously that's not satisfied. I like to do text messages, but you can also, depending on how comfortable you feel with these people, you can do email. I send no more than twice. I'll send them an email. And I have a sample email down here for you can send out. So subject line, not your feedback is appreciated, which is generic, and it needs to be personable. So, hey, Joan, can you help me out? That sounds very personal. People are going to open that. And this is just an example. You can make it personable. So I would do customer name. Yeah, add something. I meant to boldfaces. Add something personal here. So that goes back to like the Giants thing. We take feedback from our customers seriously. Could you please leave us a review? And you give them that link, and it goes directly to this review page. You don't want to just say leave us a review. You want it to go directly to this page here, so they don't have to mess around, right? Hopefully I didn't submit that. I didn't submit that, did I? Do you want to discard this review? Yes, I do. And what else was I going to say? So you add that. Then I also like to add a second review link. So I like to do Google always, and then a second one could be on Yelp or on Facebook or whatever. I always, wherever you need it for, that's where you would add that second link. Sometimes you just want to do one, whatever works for you. Send it and then follow up. If they don't do it, follow up on it for a second review. A second request, maybe a week or two later. Now you want to guide them through the review if possible. So if you're comfortable enough, you could write the review for them. Could you leave this review? Encourage them to do photos. Encourage them to use certain keywords. I think I have down here. You can include this in the email if you'd like. And you have to tailor it to like yoga studios, of course, right? So The more keywords they can write in the reviews, the better. The more photos, the better. If you feel totally comfortable, just write the review for them and ask them to, could you post this? You know what I mean? Have had fun drinking with you last night or something like that. You know, that you'd have to be comfortable with them to ask that. At least I would have to be comfortable with them, somebody to ask them something like that. Oh, that's where this went. This should go up here. Okay, went over that. Send to requests, help them with the review, encourage photos, post. Okay, so if you get these reviews, and you need to be responding to all of them, positive or negative. And if you get a negative one, as desirable as it is to just say, what are you talking about? Like, we did everything you wanted. Like, that's what everybody wants to do. Just obviously make sure you don't do it. So you need to respond to all of them. And then what did I mention here? Oh, so these are things you could add to social. Is just take a screenshot of this review, because we always run out of things to post on Facebook. This is the kind of stuff. Take a screenshot of this and post this. This could be a post too. This could be a photo in your Google My Business photos. But this is what I would post to my Facebook timeline. And then above the image, if you know something personal about Thomas, that's what you would put there. So what do we? I don't even know how long are we recording for. Probably a little over an hour. Another thing that is really powerful is if you can, I don't know how many, I think it's like you have 5 people at your company, at least that's was on the about page. Offer your employees, reviews are so powerful and they're so important for SEO purposes. Offer them, for every review they get, you'll give them $10 or $20 or whatever, maybe a $25 gift card, whatever you can afford. They are that important. So that's something I definitely would do as well. And then go look at your competition for their most relevant reviews and see what kind of stuff they are. I keep doing that, getting reviews on. That's going to help you build your review response template if you are going to ask them to do the review. Another thing, messaging. You don't have messaging set up, at least I don't think. There's no way to easily tell, but download the app. And what that's going to do is that when your company name shows up over here, if they're on mobile, there's going to be a button that says message. And you want to give people as many opportunities to contact you as possible. Now, if you do that and you don't respond, Google's going to remove it from your profile, so that's no good. So make sure it's something you can respond to, and that's done within the Google My Business app. Questions and answers. Man, I did it again. Goodness. Where is question? It's not showing up for you. Okay, so let's do Tribe Yoga San Francisco. Ask a question here. You can't do this from the back end, from within the Google My Business area. I think you can only do it here. What I do is ask a question, and this is like frequently asked questions. So you're asking questions and answering your own questions. I also would go back to the top results, see what their questions and answers are. And then you'd want to mimic those and put those here. So not only your competition, but Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, perhaps. See what questions are common on other yoga pages. And I keep saying yoga, all your categories. And then add these as an FAQ on your website too. And then you can use schema, which kind of is off topic, but you can use schema to kind of help Google better understand what it is. And then Google Guaranteed is a cool thing. It adds a little Google Guaranteed badge. It's $600 a year, I believe, to your listing. And it makes sense you would rank high. You're definitely going to get more clicks because people are going to see this Google Guaranteed and trust you more. It offers people insurance, and some businesses aren't even eligible for it. I don't know if gyms or yoga studios are. It's something you want to look into. I would definitely do Google Ads, local search ads. This is the ads that show up on Google Maps. But just make sure you know what you're doing. You want to target the right keywords. You want to make sure you don't want to show the ad to somebody in Omaha. You want to only show the ad to people that live in your area, right? You want to use negative keywords. So if somebody is searching for yoga, you don't want to show the ad because maybe they're just looking for information on yoga. You want to only show the ad for people that are searching on like yoga near me or yoga San Francisco or yoga whatever, right? So so just make sure you know what you're doing if you're doing Google Ads. Google Ads are cool. I mean, you can start with you can do it $5 a day. And then you track it, and if it's working after a couple months, stick with it. If not, you can just do away with it. It's something I definitely would consider, though. It really helps with brand exposure. At a minimum, people are going to see your business name show up at the top of the results over and over again. Google Alerts, just go to Google Alerts and set up an alert for your company name. So anytime your name is mentioned on the internet, you're going to see it. And you can go find out what's going on. Use Ahrefs, we went over that, just to gather good information. So here's just a minor observation on your website. The copyright date says 2020. No big deal, but make sure you go change that. I would consider using a live chat plugin. I did it again. Goodness. There's free ones you can use. Tidio is a really good one. And just put it down here because you want to give people as many opportunities to contact you as possible. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be surprised, a lot of people have social anxiety, or they just don't like talking on the phone. Maybe it's not even anxiety. So I'm that way. I don't have anxiety, but I prefer not calling somebody on the phone for a simple question because I don't want it to be a sales pitch. I don't know. I just would rather message them. Put that on here. And you don't always have to be staring at your computer to get it, right? It can go to your phone. Also, if you're not available after a minute, it'll say, we're not available, please send us a message. So it's something I definitely would add. Live chat. I went over this, put your address in the footer of all pages. So Google Search Console is the dashboard for Google Search. You need to make sure you're in it. Google Analytics, make sure you're signed up for that. If you're not, it's going to help you see the analytics of the type of people and what pages and are popular on your website, where people are going, all that stuff. So here's the process I'm going to share with you. And obviously I'm sending this to you, so don't worry about making a screenshot or anything crazy of this. So this is the basic plan I follow. It's a 4-month plan, but it generally takes 6 months. Do the initial monthly report, free bright local audit, competitive analysis, blah, blah, blah. Month 1. Month 2, do these things. Month 3, do these things. Schema, optimize meta descriptions, location information in the footer of all pages. A lot of this stuff, install live chat, is a lot of the stuff I just went over here. Month 4, Google Ads, etc., ongoing things. So you could take this, you could do all this stuff. Now I can do this stuff for you, but of course it would be, a gig, something we'd have to work out. You could split this over a 12-month period if you wanted to. If you think you only have time for this, do this in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, right? So it's a time-consuming process, and this is a live document. You can see it's version 2.1. I'm constantly updating it. You can check with me in a few months, and I'm actually redoing all of my processes because things are getting crazy, and the only way I can scale my business is to get the procedures, whatever, worked out. So these things are really changing. So I hope this has helped. I do enjoy doing them. And I would appreciate a review, would be awesome. Kind of like I told you to ask for reviews, I'm asking you for a review. And if you could put keywords in there, that would be totally awesome too. If you only have time to do a review, just like one sentence, that's fine too. But I would just ask before, if you are going to leave a negative review, if you're just unhappy with something, definitely can do that. But just if you could allow me to, if it's something I didn't answer, or if there's something you need covered more, just give me the opportunity to do that before leaving in a negative review, because that does hurt. Obviously it's not good. So hopefully this helped, and I'm certainly here for questions. Tomorrow, next month, next week, next year, if you have questions, I'll answer those for free. If you want me to help with performance, I also do WordPress security audits, which I definitely think you should do. Because the last thing you want to do is get hacked and ruin your entire business reputation. So if you need help with performance, I do that. If you need help with security, I do that. And since I have an agency license for a security plugin, I'll give you that for free, right? So you're not going to have to pay the $70 a year for the security plugin that I have. It's iTheme Security Pro, and it's an awesome plugin. You can do 2-factor authentication with it. You can check for file change. You can do all kinds of stuff. So the plugin almost would pay for the cost of the audit if you wanted to do that. And then if you need help with these month-to-month tasks, it's something we can work together on as well. Let me know. Please leave a review. That would be pretty helpful. And stay safe with all this crazy COVID madness going on there. And take care.